Welcome back.
Welcome back. This time I got you to start it.
How's your week, IJ? How's your week?
It's been pretty good. Pretty good. Actually, I was looking forward to filming tonight because I've been eating real well. And tonight we had a giant feast just before we started the podcast.
Yes, indeed.
What did we have? Tell them a bit of what we had.
Fat burger.
Super fat. It was so filthy, but no regrets. I'll regret it tomorrow when I'm running. Yeah, but yeah, how's your week been?
Same old, same old. Didn't get up too much. Just actually, I did some gardening the other day.
Oh yeah, I saw. So we film at their house, and when I came in today, I was like, "Wow, your front lawn looks great."
Thank you very much.
Well done, well done. How long did it take you again?
Well, over a span of 3 months, because they only give us one green bin, so like taking out all the
So it's a gradual process.
Yeah. But got the job done the other day. Yeah.
Nice work, dude. Nice work. Real inspiration. Hey, keeping to your mantra or your motto is to keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
And that's what you're striving to do.
Amen.
Well, on that note, I guess let's continue to strive for the rest of the podcast. So this week we have another guest.
Yep.
Does my clue from last week make sense now? My clue from last week said he is close.
He is close indeed.
Because
the
guest is. Please do say it.
My brother, Daniel Joe.
Daniel Joe, if you can please come into the show. Wow. It's
Testing.
All
right. 1, 2.
You don't have to test it. We did it before. You're just supposed to say hi, dude. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How does it feel to be on the podcast?
It's my very first podcast, so feels a little bit weird, but yeah, I'm happy to be here, and yeah, happy to have a chat with you guys.
Yeah, it's weird because for so many weeks you've been just upstairs.
Yeah.
And there would be times where you would like go past while we're filming, and then if you ever see and look back in the other podcasts, there'll be times where me and James would just like awkwardly like follow something off screen, and that's Daniel and being like, "Shh, don't make a noise." No,
yeah,
but
I had to go out for a few times.
he's Mr. Popular. He is.
That's what Jim.
Yeah, double trouble, double the Joe bros. But yeah, it's interesting. It's great to have you as a guest, and as we do in our King's Army tradition, is to get our first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, actually, we have a funny story of how we met, didn't we? Where did we meet? Well,
Yeah.
technically knew of each other, but didn't meet, but knew of each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think we first met at Anytime Fitness. Well, I first saw you at Anytime Fitness gym, and that was like on one of those 5 a.m. Morning gym sessions on a weekday.
Yes, you were a newbie. I noticed because me and my other friend used to go for the last 3 years straight at Fairfield Anytime Fitness, Fairfield East, and yeah, I just remember. Was that how many years ago? Was it last year that you started doing it?
When I started the morning session. I tried. Yeah, first time I tried the morning session when I saw you was like last year. Like, yeah, a bit past mid last year. I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense because
Yeah.
Well, my impression. When I had two impressions, obviously. I had the first impression where I didn't really know you, but I saw a new guy coming in because normally at 5 a.m. there's a specific set of people that come in consistently, and he was like a new face. I was like, "Who's this dude?" Never seen him before, but he must be trying something new because it's post lockdown and everything. And so yeah, I remember seeing you, and I remember your pink bottle.
Yeah.
You always had that pink bottle, so that stuck in my mind. But then your face wasn't something that I like, kind of, because it's weird. I don't like stare at people at the gym for too long because I don't
Nah.
want to look like a creep.
Yeah.
So I just remember things like what they wear or the things that they hold, and you always had a pink bottle with you.
That's what you remember of me?
Yeah. Oh, why? What was your impression of me?
My first impression of IJ, honestly, yeah, like when I first saw you, like in the gym. I remember you were wearing like a tight black tee, tight black tee with your guns out and tattoos out.
Yeah, I just had my tattoo done, so I was pretty
And
proud.
you were just like, I remember like doing some exercise, and I just, from the corner of my eyes, I just constantly saw you just walking around, kind of looking a bit clueless actually for some reason. Like you're like, oh, and then yeah. So when I was like, oh, like yeah, this guy obviously he gyms hard, and then I actually went a couple times in the morning sessions, and I saw you like consistently. So I was like, oh, yep, he's probably like one of those consistent morning gym goers. But yeah, my first impression, and then that's my first time I saw you. So my first impression of you was like, yeah, just a nice gym going guy who had tattoos and looks good, I guess.
Good. That's what I hoped I look like. Yeah, but yeah, I am pretty lost sometimes. So yeah, that makes also sense. But I guess our second look, when we actually met was through One Family Church, and obviously, like I've said, our mutual friend Keith brought me to church, last week's guest, and then yeah, I actually, the first time I went to One Family Church, Keith walked me and sat me down, and it was started, and then you were the first person I sat next to.
Yeah.
And you sat there, but there was like a chair in between us, but like I was obviously new and very awkward and didn't know what to do with myself. So I remember there's the time where normally during the service when they're like, oh, turn around to someone and say hello to your neighbor kind of thing. Yeah. I remember like being so nervous. I was like, oh, I don't want to talk to anyone or look at anyone. And then like, oh, there's a guy beside me. So I glanced at you, and then you were just looking forward. And then after that, as soon as you kind of saw and looked at the side and was about to turn to me, I turned away quickly. I was like, oh, crap. He saw me looking at him. Oh, that's so awkward. So then I was just like, I just remember being that nervous. But then after, Keith properly introduced us after the service, and then you mentioned, I saw you at the gym, and I was like, oh, really? And then
so that the second time I saw you at the church was I straight away knew like who you were. Straight away I could tell, oh, it's the guy from gym. And so I didn't say anything until obviously because you turned around when I turned at you. I couldn't say anything. So when we actually met properly with Keith introducing you to us, outside, it was outside, and you're yet again wearing a black long sleeve this time, tight. Long
hey, it was long sleeve. It's a change.
Black sleeve, and
both of you brothers remember me.
And
I feel like this is a reenactment of the first podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And my actual impression then was like, oh, this guy definitely looks like a F-boy.
Oh,
that's when I thought, oh, he gives out some F-boy vibes. And then
how opposite is that to actual reality? But yeah,
I was completely wrong, people.
That's what I do. I put on a facade where I look tough and stuff. I'm actually a wimp. Anyone can beat me up. I'll just run real fast. So that's it. But yes. But enough about it. Oh, I guess you two have known each other. What's your earliest memory actually of each other, James? If you care to. If you have an early memory that you just remember from your childhood about each other that stuck with you.
I just remember us like when we were in Korea, I think we were like 6'5". Coming back from like this tutor, like this piano tutor. Now we got into a little scuffle, like we got into a little fight. And then I head inside, like right before we enter into our apartment, I head inside the like garage, not garage, like under like sheltered parking lot. I'm like, I got pissed off, so I hid behind one of the columns. I'm just like standing there because I'm like, I pissed. Like, what's the English word for bitch or so?
He's Yeah, I don't know.
Frustrated,
Like,
annoyed.
Yeah, annoyed, and then
Yeah.
Daniel walks by,
Mm.
and like he acts like he doesn't care. And I'm just standing behind the column, like huge column, and then he comes back. He's like, oh, let's go back home.
What?
So that was just
the
something
heck?
that you remembered. But why was that so significant? What was the poignant moment? Was it because he was just like, he was just like, come on, let's go?
No, it just came to mind.
No, it just came to mind. You're just getting
I have
annoyed at him. Do you remember what was
no
the fight
idea.
about?
I have no idea.
No, you just remembered
Yeah,
feeling
man.
those emotions. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was in Korea.
Do you remember that?
Nah, man, it was nothing. Completely blank. I have no recollection.
No recollection.
No recollection.
So like, how about you? What's a memory that you remember from your childhood about it? James?
Like the very first memory? I mean, like, a good one was like when we came to Australia. Like our very first few weeks, we came to Australia when I was 5 and James was 4,
Mm.
and then like our mom and dad had to like go out to do like church things or something whatnot, and then we kind of stayed home like alone.
Mm.
And then like James was sleeping, I think, when my mom and dad left and told me like, oh, like just take care of your brother or something.
Mm.
And I was still only 5, and I was still young, and I was still like scared staying home alone with my brother.
Mm.
But then like James woke up, and then I think he like started freaking out so hard, and he started freaking out and he started crying, and then he like just opened the door, and just starts running out of the house. And then I was like, oh, what crap. And I was like, imagine a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
kid
you're
just
supposed to look
seeing all
after
that
him.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, but yeah, I don't know what happened. But then somehow, like 10 minutes later, like my mom and dad comes home with James. I don't. Was that what happened?
Do you remember that?
How did I end up with mom and dad?
I don't know. Like I think mom and dad came back somehow.
So you
like,
either that or he was just sitting out there for a while
Possibly.
until your parents
Yeah,
just
but
came back and
that's-
were like, "What are you doing outside
yeah,
the
that's
house?"
the memory I have. First,
Wow.
like big memory.
Yeah,
yeah.
because you had a responsibility and
Yeah.
you kind of low
But
key
the
blew
thing-
it.
yeah, the thing is, like, we did that in Korea when we were even younger.
Mm.
But I don't know why he started freaking out at that time. Yeah, so just like started crying and just bolted out of
I
the
can
house.
see that. No, I can. Well, yeah. Like, did you tell him, "Oh, mom and dad are gone. I'm in charge,"
I
kind
think
of thing?
so, maybe.
Ah,
I must
that-
have said something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, when you're young, I feel like you're
Yeah.
kind of clingy to your parents. I know I was.
But then I didn't
Yeah.
remember that part. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, since like both of you don't have a first impression, I thought I'd play a little game. A who's more likely. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna say who's most likely to ... and then I'll read it out and I'll go 3, 2, 1, and then you guys will point
To
to,
the one.
to who you think it's more. It's
Most
either
likely to.
yourself or the other.
All right.
So let's begin this game. So who's most likely to be the last one to get ready? 3, 2, 1. I feel like you're very
Always.
Oh wait, oh yeah.
No, it's not always. Man.
How
Not
James?
always.
Tell me a bit more. So they pointed at Daniel.
It's not that it's like I'm late. It's just that he's like 45 minutes early.
Ah,
Like, it doesn't. It's not.
So
my
you're
fault.
just
Yeah, I'm on
normal.
time. I'm just on time.
Yeah.
He's just like way too early.
Yeah, I feel like because you got more things going on and you're fit and you're not as fast. You're just like slam it on and out.
He has
While
like
you-
he rotates like 2 outfits every Sunday, man.
Yes. Okay, let's begin. Let's continue this savage game. Okay, who's most likely to answer back to their parents? 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. I answer back.
As in, like,
retaliate?
who's more likely to argue with their parents?
Oh, that's a tough one. Cause
Do you think
I
both, or
think-
do you think?
yeah,
I reckon both. Yeah.
Okay, both. Both are
when I
problematic
was younger,
children.
definitely me. But
Yeah.
as we started growing up, I think James
Started
took
to.
over. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So both are bad children. so both of them. Okay, fair enough. Okay, next one. Who's most likely to start a sibling rivalry? 3, 2, 1.
I don't know, man. I don't think we've never had a rivalry.
You never?
Oh,
Or
but
who's more competitive?
Oh.
That's what I would say.
Like as a younger brother, of course, me like.
No. Okay, Say that again.
Okay, who's more competitive? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's me.
I would say me.
Okay,
no,
they're both
me.
competitive.
It's because as a younger brother, I'm always like seeing Daniel as a competition.
Is it because that's interesting because
yeah.
for me growing up, because there was a bigger age gap between me and my brother, I didn't see it as I just was just like, wow, you're so cool and older. But I
Yeah.
guess because you guys are older age gap, there's more of a rivalry or, yeah.
But I mean, to my defense, as the older brother, it's my responsibility to destroy you in everything possible.
Who's the better swimmer?
Oh, that's me. Me.
Daniel's a better swimmer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Name more
interesting.
sports.
I don't want to get a punch on. Okay, next one. Who's most likely to smash the television for not being allowed to watch their favorite TV show? So who's more violent? 3, 2, 1.
Well, the thing is, like, we didn't have a TV for like the past 10 years.
Okay, I simplified it. Who's more aggressive between the two? 3, 2, 1.
I guess me. But
Would you
we're
really?
not aggressive people.
No, you're not.
And
But like out
firstly,
of the
this
two,
black guy is not because I was. from a
that question was lined up. Just
Yeah, this-
no,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not. It's a soccer game, right?
Yeah, I got elbowed in a soccer game.
Yeah, he did not get into fights. If the
Sounds so
if their
sus.
parents are watching,
Yeah.
nothing bad happened.
Nah. It's
James
just
did not punch. That did not happen. Okay, next one. Who's most likely to play a prank on their parents? 3, 2, 1.
I've never played a prank ever on our parents.
Never.
Nah, never.
Or on in general. Let's say in general.
We're just very boring. Now that I think about it, like, these questions aren't working. Man,
I
what's
can't
going
even
on?
Yeah, I can't even.
There's a lot of them, so we'll go through a more interesting one. Okay, next one. Who's more likely to do the dishes? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Come on,
Alright,
this
Yeah.
guy.
Alright.
I heard you guys had a fight because of that.
Yeah, we.
Our very last fight was actually about like
Yeah.
house chores
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, James and I we never fight, but like the one time we did, yeah, it was like straight after our parents left to Korea, and then then we just got like all these responsibilities like handed to us, and like our whole life, our mom kinda did the laundry, did the house cleaning, did the dishes, did the food. So it was like a whole new like experience when we first started living. on
Yeah,
our
you have
own.
to fend for yourselves and be more
And then-
independent.
Yeah, at that time, like, I was working like pretty much full time, and James wasn't. So like, I was kind of,
Yeah, I heard that.
I was
James
kind of
was it?
expecting.
Okay, sorry.
It's. I guess it's bad of me to expect this, but I was like kind of expecting like if I'm working full time and I come home, I'm like pretty tired, so I just kind of want James to do the house stuff a bit more than I did. But then, obviously, he got a bit upset, and then we had a fight.
How did that fight look like? I'm curious to see what, like, was it like an argument or were you guys just not talking? Like, how did it look like?
Yeah, I think
How did
it was
it play
pretty
out?
bad, but yeah, it was.
Did you get physical at any time or not? Like a bit of shoving or no?
Nah, I don't think it got physical.
it was just more like-
more like verbal. Verbal. Yeah, it was verbal. But
Yelling or just more like
I guess
stern?
not yelling, but like
Frustrating,
stern fight, solid fight, verbal fight.
Interesting, because both of y'all are like pretty emotionless, would I say?
Yeah. Emotionless.
Yeah. Almost kind of robotic.
Yeah. I think we tend not to show that much emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that's why I'm just so interested and invested in this scenario, because you say you don't fight much, so you guys seem pretty level-headed. So to get to that place, it must have been serious. But anyway, okay, let's skip ones. Okay, who's more likely to sing in the shower? 3, 2, 1.
I mean,
Both
I
of
do.
us, yeah.
Okay, both
I
of you
think
guys.
so.
Yeah, but I've heard both of you sing, so you guys are pretty like musical
Oh,
and
not that
enjoy
good.
enjoy singing. Okay. Who's most likely to embarrass themselves in front of strangers? 3, 2, 1.
Not me.
Neither of them
I'm not gonna
claim.
embarrass myself in front of
You know,
strangers.
you're pretty okay.
Uh,
Or
so-
who's more clumsy? Let's say that.
Clumsy. I think we're pretty coordinated. I'd say.
Yeah.
But if I have to choose, probably James. I don't know. I'd say I'm more athletic, so I can't be clumsier.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Nah,
Fair
I'm
enough. Fair
kidding.
enough. No, that's interesting. Okay. Who's most likely to wear sunglasses indoors?
Ah,
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, really?
I always stand in like every time we walk to the church with sunnies on. Like, take your sunnies off. Take your sunnies off.
But do you know what? When I saw this question, I actually thought it was going to be James.
Really?
Because the first time we hung out was on New Year's, and you were wearing sunnies inside. Yeah, you were. You were wearing those like sunnies, and I just remember being like, "Dude, we're inside." That same thought. But anyway, but it sounds like but I can see you do that.
I mean, I
'cause
did that
sunnies,
a
dude.
lot when I was like younger. Like I had like a whole year 12 formal with my sunnies on inside. Oh, it's so stupid.
You're Mr.
yeah.
Cool guy.
That was so cringe. But yeah, old times.
Okay, almost done. Who's most likely to drink milk right from the carton? 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's probably me.
Oh,
I just
Always.
like milk.
yeah, and you just chug it down from.
But I don't do that. But if most likely, then
Yeah.
I'll probably do it.
The
Yeah.
truth is, he's just too lazy to get a cup.
that makes sense.
And my mum would always get angry every time he would get like drink straight out of the bottle.
Yeah.
But I didn't lip it. I just
Yeah. The whole like hovering
yeah.
above the mouth
Yeah.
and pouring it in.
still keep it hygienic.
Interesting. Okay. Who's the last to get up from bed? 3, 2, 1.
Well, nowadays, like,
Nowadays I think we're up both pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before that,
Before that, probably me.
last
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I can see
probably
that.
me.
I can see you being
Yeah.
more of the
Yeah.
less energetic one in the
Yeah.
morning. Okay. Who's most likely to be the first to the dinner table? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I feel like James would be pretty hungry.
as in like
When dinner's ready, would you be the first one down?
We were
like
both.
nowadays.
Yeah.
When our parents are around,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
when
When you're back, well, let's go younger. When you were younger, who was the one that would?
When we were younger, I think we were both like pretty bad.
Uh,
Like my mom would just constantly say, "Come down, dinner's done," and then we would both not come down and just do our thing, and then she'll get upset,
yeah,
and eventually she'll get upset, and then we finally come down.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that time.
Fair enough. And a last one. Who is most likely to walk around naked in their house when nobody's home? 3, 2, 1.
I don't do that stuff. No
You know
way.
what? If I'm the deciding factor, I would say James. Because the amount of times whenever I come over and randomly he'll just take his shirt off.
Yeah, I never do that kind of stuff.
Only like. Oh, this is TMI. Yeah, I should keep my mouth.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
TMI.
Do you know, I do it, even though I hate being naked, I only do it when, like, for example, I'm in the shower and I forget my towel.
Yeah.
And then I'll, like, if I'm home alone, I'll run to my room naked
Wait.
to grab
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Never naked though. Like that's too far though. I wouldn't like. At least
Yeah,
undies.
Undies.
Undies. Oh, well, then if that's it, then I'm always naked. Because I'm always in my underwear constantly, even
Yeah,
in
I don't think
winter.
I would ever, like, even if I'm home alone, it just feels so weird. Just
No, yeah, you're
walking
right.
around home naked and there's like, like family pictures. Like, you just, it's just
Oh, I do that too. Whenever there's like any pictures, I feel like they're watching me,
Yeah,
so
it's
I
just
can't be
kinda weird.
naked. I can't even be naked in front of a mirror. I just don't like seeing myself naked.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's
Good, you're my kind of people. James was quiet though. I think he's okay with it. This is a new side to James, but we'll leave that be for this moment segment. And guys, you just completed who's most likely quiz. And
RJ, we're pretty boring people. Like
That has to be like one of the
the
worst.
no, like
one of the worst. What's this game called?
who's most likely?
This has to be one of the worst. Who's most
I tried
likely?
to pick spicy questions to very bland people.
Yeah, that was horrible.
No, it wasn't too bad because then you guys, there
Yeah.
was some stories that came out of it,
Yeah.
and some things that we didn't know.
Mm.
So it was the best that it could be, considering who the people were.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Mm. Mm.
That was pretty fun though. That was
Yeah.
fun.
That was a good icebreaker.
Yeah. I feel like I want to do more of those with more guests.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But like,
Just gotta get like more flavoursome people.
Yeah.
no, you guys are exciting. Don't cut yourselves down like that. You guys are fine.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun.
That was good. That was good.
It's the crickets.
Yes. Supposed to press the cricket. That
It was so fun, right?
What's the other one?
I need to like oh no, that's not the one. No,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
cricket. That's a joke. Oh, that's the one.
Okay.
A fail, but I don't think it was a
Yeah.
fail. I think it's right. Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm guessing your background though,
Mhm.
getting to know you more. Obviously James being brother, you guys probably have a similar background, but I guess different experience from how you guys grew up and also how you developed in your faith. Yeah. So, yeah, what were your like early days like of church and stuff?
My early days.
Mm.
So yeah, early days. I think just being born in a Christian family, and my dad being a pastor and everything. All I could, since I can remember, I was just born into the church, and just going to like Sunday school, kids Sunday school, and following dad to this church, that church, sitting down as a little kid with my mom while my dad's like having a sermon, waiting for him to finish. And yeah, that's like my first memory of my early days of church. And and then pretty much I just grew up in church. And yeah, so what was the question?
Yeah, you answered it. So like how were you
Yeah.
like how would you describe your faith then? Was it something that you were
Okay.
well aware of, or like how were you
And then
feeling?
and then I think I had like a lot of knowledge, just book knowledge of the Bible, since I've been like constantly hearing it ever since I was young. All the stories from the Bible,
Yeah, Old Testament stories,
Old Testament
David,
stories,
Goliath, all that
everything,
stuff.
like from start to finish. And yeah, I think I was very knowledgeable, but I don't think I kind of truly knew like the deep meaning behind it all. Like I just like as a kid, you hear
You're still a kid.
Jesus died for your sins, this and that, and yeah, I just took it in as just took it in as it is, but like never truly thought deeply about it when I was little. I'd say, yeah.
Okay, no, thanks for that insight. So I guess when you were young, growing up, it was something that you felt was good. It made your parents happy. It was very much so I guess, cultural thing for you growing up. Now, I guess as you're getting older and things change, I guess, what was the point of, I guess it's going to be a two-part question. What was the first point of where, you were hit a low point where you kind of realized you needed God, like, and then like, your conviction for Jesus started to happen. Like how did I guess it all play out?
So yeah, like as I was saying, so like just growing up, and then as I kept growing up, through primary school and then going into high school, I don't think I still had that like true deep connection with God, even like throughout maybe even my high school days. I think my high school days were probably one of my most rebellious times.
Wow.
So like during high school, I would like have just so many fights with my parents, just because I was such a social climber during that time.
Okay.
So I would like seek just anything socially possible to get to that, like, being popular at school, getting to that status.
So like the affirmation of others and being the top dog was your
Pretty
priority.
much, that was my goal, I think, during my high school days. And so, because of that, like I would just try like go out as much as I can. And obviously like Asian parents don't like it, especially if your parents my dad is a pastor. And so I think just going out.
Did you feel a little pressure growing up? being
And yeah, so
a
it's
pastor's child, kid?
I think like not it wasn't like crazy amount of pressure, but I had that that like kind of I felt like I was living like a two-sided life,
Okay.
two-faced life. So like like on Saturdays I would just probably like go out with my friends, and like we'll probably go drink and all that, and and then on Sundays I would come to church, and it's just like I have to like worship God and like listen to sermons, and it was just such a two-sided
Facade kind of thing. Like
it
you
was
had
just
the
one side.
church Daniel and then the
Yeah,
party
yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, and I tried my hardest to not get those two together. So like the church side of me won't get infiltrated, and like my other side of me won't get infiltrated by people thinking like I'm a church boy kind of thing. So that was the struggle I really had, I think.
So you're trying to live a double life, keeping
Yeah.
two different standards.
Yes.
Did you find that tiring?
And it was very, very tiring. And deep inside, I just always thought like, oh, this is like not the right way to live. Because I think I had that consciousness in me, knowing that two-sided lukewarm life was, not the right answer, not the right way to live. So yeah, that was, it was very stressful, it was a very stressful, I think, period of my life. Just cause like I was just trying to live a double life.
And during that
basically.
time, what was your mentality toward God? Was it like, did you take him seriously? Did you have a conviction to follow Jesus, or what was your mindset and posture
honestly, like I think
toward him?
during high school and even just after high school, I graduated high school. That's probably it got a bit worse maybe, because now that I was an adult, I was like, legal to just do whatever I want basically. And and I think after high school was probably like 18 to 20. Those years were like my most like wild, crazy, I think days. And so, so what was the question?
So like, what was your mindset toward God like during that time?
And so like, those times, honestly, I think for me, my desire for like to meet my friends, to party, to basically conform with the world was much stronger than my desire for God. So like even though like after every night I still had that thought in the back of my head, like this wasn't the right thing to do, this and that wasn't the right thing to do. I think I just kind of like just pushed those thoughts aside, and like I was just like, I'm still young, I'm just gonna do this, and maybe I'll go to church and repent, and I'll just do it all over again. So yeah, I think that's the cycle that I went through.
And during that cycle, was it like hard to kind of like, I guess, face things, or were you always just suppressing it and being like, oh, it's all right, I'll be forgiven, I'll be forgiven?
I think it was definitely hard, because like I knew like deep down inside, like I was living like a very sinful life. But yeah, like it was hard, but I think I just like I suppressed it so long that I kind of grew like numb to it. And like I just the longer I suppressed it, like I felt like the more my flesh got stronger and stronger, if you know what I mean.
So what was the turning point that kind of woke you up from all this?
So yeah, like it's still like for me, it's definitely a turning point was I think it's when I kind of changed the environment of people I started hanging out with. And it's, I think even like maybe like a couple years ago, when I joined like Martin's small group as well. Martin's small group, and then like I think when I joined Martin's small group, it kind of gave me that incentive to have a bit more responsibility within our small group, since Marty especially asked me to come help him. So yeah, like I think joining Marty's small group was also a big turning point for me, because that kind of drove me to like strive to be more of a genuine Christian and be more of a just be more of a example to my small group people. And
when you decided to make that shift,
mm,
could you tell the differences between how your life was before and what you were feeling particularly?
yeah, like I think I definitely started feeling more, what's the word? Started feeling more like more conscious of the actions that I was doing, and more conscious of like what I was suppressing, like the thoughts I was suppressing.
What were those thoughts particularly?
It's just like the thoughts, like, you know, like I had back in the days when I was like suppressing, like, you know, like I think it was like God telling me this is not the right thing to do. This is not the not the way you should go. But you know, I just ignored those thoughts in my head.
Okay.
But like those thoughts just came back, and then so being in Marty's small group, and I think I never used to hang out with like church people, but like I think maybe like for now it's just been a couple years, I started hanging out more with church people, making more friends at church. And I think like just it's changing the environment of the people you're with definitely, I think, helped me to turn back slowly but eventually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're still in that process?
I'm still in the process, and it's still a struggle, because like all my best friends from high school to even now, they're still my very close friends. But it's like I try, you know, like I'm now trying to live a more of a the life that God wants me to live. And so
a gospel-centered life.
Yes, exactly. So if it means, you know, I have to like sacrifice my time with them, then that's just how it's gotta be. So yeah, like my friends, I think, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing. James, did you know any of that, what he was going through during that time?
I was a witness.
Oh yeah.
I was a witness.
How
like,
so?
Yeah, just
Like you saw it all unfold in front of you.
As in, like, without going into too much detail, just but like, it's not like I couldn't do anything about it anyway. So I was just a witness,
a bystander.
Bystander.
Okay.
But like,
But you just no, it's hard because you know when you have someone close to you that's going through something.
And I think like I was like the older brother, so like he
he's
really,
the
like,
younger brother,
he
so
really, like talks up like back to me. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, but I guess that leads us also to the next point. Like it's so encouraging to hear that in terms of like how you've grown and God made you see what the wisdom in living the way he wants us to live, as opposed to living the way the world lives. When you see the differences, what are some positive things that you have taken away, or what are some things that draw you closer to God because of making a big lifestyle change like that?
Well, I feel like this particular like struggle that I had, I honestly thought like I can never tell people about it. And like I always kept it to myself, and I always try to fight it myself and struggle it on my own. But like I think only recently I started like telling people of my struggles, and I think that definitely like helped me to not just feel better, but give me, and like especially when my Christian brothers would give me advice on and stuff like that, it gives me reassurance and gives me more like what's the word? Gives me more
Accountability.
Plus like I also want to like I just get reassured that what God is trying to tell me through my Christian brothers.
Yeah.
So like yeah.
It's like they're like pointing you back to God,
Mm.
and pointing you the right way.
Yeah.
Because no, that's great. That's so encouraging to hear that. I think generally as males, we tend to feel like we need to take things all our own, and we shouldn't open up. Actually, recently I shared with Daniel one of my struggles that I kept hidden inside, and it was just about my loneliness and sadness. And then I was like, it's becoming a thing because it's becoming more of a common reoccurrence. And I don't think, I did pray about it and I did surrender to God, but it was still a reoccurring emotion that was gripping me. And so I came to a place where like I need to tell my brothers. So I told Daniel, I told Keith, but but actually a really encouraging story. Actually, when we first met, and this is what after when we first started working out. Actually, I came to a place where I was really like struggling, and there was a point where I was going to give up on my faith. I thought because I was just struggling so much, but it was through the help of the effort, God through the efforts of Daniel actually helped me and inspired me to like come back to my faith. I think it was just the way he modeled just being a good godly brother that just showed up. I think I was just struggling as well with like with my other group of friends. No shade to them, I love them. I love them. They're my support group, but just going through a phase where I felt like their life stages were drifting apart from mine, so I was feeling very lonely and isolated, and not having that camaraderie. Kind of starved away. And even though I was praying to God, and it was getting to that point where and like I can see why in the Bible it encourages us to share our burdens and to be in fellowship with one another, because we need a relationship with God, and we also are created as relational beings with one another.
Amen.
And so I felt like it just having that camaraderie made me feel like I missed, because I used to have that camaraderie with my brothers before, but it just changed. And to experience it with you guys again just really encouraged and warmed my heart and really point me back to God. So I was very thankful to my brother Daniel.
Thank you, RJ.
He is my friend, a special friend to me that will always have my loyalty.
And like in honesty, I had like no idea I could have that much like impact. And like like all I did was, I think, like I don't think I even did much, but like the fact that when you told me that, I was actually like quite genuinely shocked. I was like, wow, like someone like me could even, like someone like almost like you said, like you were almost nearly out of your faith, but to bring you back, like that gives me like more, that's really encouraging for me. And like it inspires me to keep living that.
God
that
can
life
still
and
work through
keep
you,
accountable with one another.
even in subtle things.
So like that was a big inspiration to me as well. And I feel like a lot of the young brothers, especially nowadays, I feel like they have this similar struggles, especially in these day and age where like a lot of people like nowadays, obviously, like they like to party, they like to be at the age.
Enlighten me in that, because I was very sheltered and I never got into the party scene.
Right.
But also coming into youth group leading, I just noticed that a lot of the kids, especially in the Southwest, they go through this cycle where everyone, because they have probably secular friends, non-Christian friends, they just go partying hard out, and that's what their life's about. Like, enlighten me, what is that scene like?
I mean, it's I think as like any standard party that you kind of can like imagine, not party, but it's like every time you would meet, you would probably like drink, get drunk. Like there's probably even like substances that they do.
Wow.
And it's just like such a norm these days, I feel like. And like even going to like these music festivals and whatnot. And like I think like a lot of the like not kids, but like a lot of young adults these days, they go through that. Well, the people even in the church, like a lot of churches I know, like that they go to church, but they still live that kind of life. I think even me, I was included until, but yeah, like, you know, it's and I feel like they have that similar struggle that I struggled with, having that living that two-faced life. You know, partying on Saturday and on church on Sunday. So like and I think like they try to like hide it and like struggle on their own as well.
Yeah.
So I recommend and advise, you know, it's always good to talk to brothers about your struggles, because it will keep you accountable and it will help you in many ways.
Yeah, and enlightening that burden to feel like you don't have to be caught up in a cycle of shame.
Yep.
That, you know, it's always like, oh, like party, and then regret,
Yep.
party, regret. But like you can get out of that cycle, and also surrender to God, and know that like there's nothing that you can do that could, I guess, nullify the grace found in Christ Jesus. There's nothing we can do to diminish Christ's sacrifice on the cross, because he dealt and with all sin on that cross.
Exactly.
And
it's
so
just that massive guilt, I think that they struggle with, because I struggled with guilt. And so yeah, it's always like IJ said, you know, there's no sin big enough for God, you know. So yeah.
I mean, I guess once you have an understanding of God's grace, that and understanding of how much God loves you, that's like the motivation that drives then the individual to repent and turn around and live for God. You know, you hit that crossroads where you've realized, man, God loves me, and here I am acting out like a spoiled child kind of thing, like the prodigal son kind of parable going on there. So, do you ever feel like that you know your experience was similar to the prodigal son?
Prodigal son.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard like a lot that people say I was the prodigal son or whatnot. Yeah, but I mean, I can see it. Yeah, I feel like the prodigal son actually story has very it's very similar to kind of my story, I guess. Yeah, you know, the son that kind of just rebels and strays away and does everything he wants to, but then, you know, he comes back and the father embraces him. Yeah, so yeah, that does.
And hopefully that the Father's embrace, God's love, in Christ Jesus fills your heart, so that, you know, it continues to fuel you to do the right thing, not just because it's a moralistic thing or it's the right thing and you're just suppressing something, but rather understanding that you want to transform from the inside out to follow Jesus. Actually, it's that parable is very applicable, because he also had a brother in that parable that was the good brother, and James is very much like that, the good brother. Yeah, how was your experience, James? Like, I guess seeing all that, and because you guys have obviously the same background but different experiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, how was it for you, James?
Well, of course, like, it's good to see from a like third party perspective as well. I get to avoid the things that he's going through. If I see that like it's wrong, or like but like all those like nights like we had just talking like with our family, like whenever Daniel would fight, like argue with my parents, I'd always be sitting beside and just listening for hours, and then I'll get to hear all the the way we should go,
Right.
And
right.
like if I wasn't like sitting down beside and like listening to all that, like, you know, I might be doing the same thing. But like, yeah, it's taught me direction, to be honest.
Yeah,
He
it's
was
just,
he was a trial.
yeah.
He was a
Yeah,
trial.
yeah,
Honestly, like James was probably like I think our scenario can be best described as Jacob and Esau.
Okay.
So
How so?
Jacob being like the mama's boy, not mama's. Well, he wasn't a mama's boy, but like him being like at home, being obedient, this and that, like and then Esau just goes out and hunt, and he goes like he's wild and that story just popped up to my mind. Like how I think
the differences between the two, even though it's the same environment, they still develop different. Actually, I think it might be a younger brother thing, because my brother also, he's the older one, and I'm the younger one. He was the rebellious one. He did all the things first, and
it's always the
oldest ones seem to be the wild. And I think I identify with what you said, James, because like whenever my brother would mess up, I would and fight with my parents. I would do this sly thing where then I would suck up to my parents. I'm like, I don't think you're like that, and they were like, oh, you're such a good. I would be a kiss ass. I'm a good like a suck up to be the favorite.
The thing is, like, I think like did your parents ever like tell you that every time like they would like discipline your older brother, they like tell you to come down and listen to it as well, and they'll discipline you at the same time,
even though like that you did nothing wrong.
Is that how you guys experience it?
Every time, like I'll just like, because like I'll be wasting so many hours like just listening to a fight that wasn't part of my life, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna slowly sneak up, and then like they'll tell me to come back down, listen to it. Yeah.
But I think in hindsight, it's probably helped him. Yeah. And I think as an older, like as the eldest, I feel like you're first in line to but you're first in line for everything that comes your way. Kind of like in a way, So like, and so and then maybe like James probably like, I don't know, like if it was this, but like he probably saw what happened and the fights with my parents, and he probably thought, this is dumb. I'm not gonna do what he's doing, and so in maybe I was just a sacrificial lamb for James to live a good
all
life.
the hardship that he had to go through, the frustration,
the burdens I had to go through.
James was like, I ain't gonna do that, and steered clear. Interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. But I think that was really encouraging for you to share that, because like we said, I think probably a large number of guys at church probably do live that double life. Or, it doesn't even necessarily have to be that same struggle. It could be other aspects. But I guess your what you shared today and a bit of your testimony shares that, like, following God and following, God's wisdom can also bring healing from the destruction of sin that it brings into your life. But God can heal that and mend that and transform you and make your heart desire what he desires. And when you do live in that place where you're desiring God more, you feel more at peace and more stable.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And just a disclaimer now, I rarely fight with my parents. I'm like a very good boy now, and so
it's more me now.
It's more James now. I think.
I hear James is a stubborn one.
It's James's turn.
Well, it's not like necessarily fighting. It's more like a discussion.
It's very how do I say, constructive arguments of what my parents think what James should be doing, but then James having his not stubborn, but like
own perception.
Yeah, his own perception of what he should be doing. And I'm just the one who's trying to like keep mediating everything.
Oh, okay. So you become somewhat of a peacekeeper from the center of conflict to now being the peacekeeper between other conflicts.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. Just wanted to put it out there. I'm not like, I don't fight with my parents.
Yeah, well, from what he's told me and how they were, when he describes his trip in Korea, it sounded like you guys just had a great quality, loving time. And, you even shared a bit of distance between you and your parents was good because it helped you appreciate
definitely
your parents even more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like honestly, whoever's watching this, I think even if you might have like a, what is it? You have arguments with your parents or anything. I think sometimes having distance heals heals, and
some
I
of the
think
wounds.
grows your relationship grows stronger. So yeah, that was the case for me. I think like being in the same house and always getting to fights, I was getting more and more angry at my parents. But like once they went to Korea, and then I think and then it's like the relationship grows like fonder and stronger. Like
Yeah,
you
because
say,
you come to realize how much your parents
Yeah,
did for
yeah.
you
yeah,
when
definitely,
when they were with you, as
Mm.
opposed to now having to fend for yourself.
definitely, yeah.
Mm.
So that was the case for me.
So kids, enjoy your parents while you can, because it just it's downhill
Yeah,
from here. Is
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
let's get an applause for that. Truth. Yes, truth. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, thanks for sharing your story, dude, and
Yeah.
sharing what
All good.
that message. It was really encouraging.
Breathless. Like talking nonstop.
Yeah, totally nonstop, and we're like filled with burgers.
man.
We're
Oh,
filled
we
with
ate,
burgers and
like-
ice cream and junk food, and then we're just like talking.
2,000 calories probably. Just eat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna hit cardio tomorrow
Yeah. Oh.
hard and get smashed. But yes.
So what's the go? What's the go for next week? Any
Clue for the next guest?
yes.
Okay, yeah, we seem to do clues. I think what's a good clue for next? We're thinking about the same guest, right? For next
Yeah.
week.
Well,
It rhymes with
let's just say he's
Men.
he's tall, he's handsome,
Oh.
he's gonna be a husband soon.
Oh, you said too much.
give us an impersonation.
Oh yeah, can you give an impersonation? That's interesting. Actually, I'm interested to see this.
I don't know what he does actually.
Can you, James? Let's see if
Let's just
I
say,
can.
What the heck?
But I kind of get it. I kind of get what you're doing there.
It's just like
What's up, James? What's up?
he does some of this.
Yeah. For those on YouTube, I've seen that. I haven't known him as long as you guys, but
He's a good artist as well. He's a good artist.
he's a good artist.
I think people should know by now.
Too many clues.
Too many clues.
The one you said like he's getting married soon. Like I gave it away.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are getting married.
Oh, I like this
nowadays.
brotherly banter right now.
Yeah,
Annoyed at each other already.
just crop that out, edit it out.
No, I'm gonna keep it all in, and I will zoom in on your faces.
Oh,
No, all good. No, but it's good. Thanks for coming, dude. I've
pleasure.
enjoyed having you. And thanks for being brave, sharing a bit of your story.
yeah. Thank you for having me. Honestly, like it's like probably like my actually first time speaking out in public about my
Wow.
story. So yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
there's a first for everything.
First and last.
Probably first and last. Yeah.
Now say something nice about your brother, James. Go.
First and last.
Go. You have to say something nice. You're a host.
No, don't. It's not.
No, do it.
I don't wanna
want to
hear
see it. I want to see it.
It's just too awkward, man. It's not. We don't have that type of relationship. We gotta keep it this
Now
way.
you have to do it, James. Yeah, do it. Yeah, say one thing nice.
I can't.
No, don't say it.
I can't.
Why?
I just
You
can't.
you can't. Yeah.
No, we're trying
He
to.
can't, and I can't hear it. I just
No, we'll
can't.
make him cover his ears and just say it. Say it.
No,
My body won't let me.
no.
Is that a Korean thing where you can't just compliment your brother or say
I don't
something?
know, man. It's like it's so strange. It's because when we were like really like young, I think like 4 to 5, 5 to 6, we're like probably like best buddies.
Oh,
And,
really?
yeah, like we're just we play, we do this even until like actually maybe like 10 to 10, 11, 12. But then I don't know, maybe puberty happened and then just
You guys had your own
it's
personalities.
like it's not that we're not close.
We used to make our own movies.
Why
Movies?
wasn't this ever
Yeah,
told?
yeah,
What
yeah.
was this? Okay, stop everything. Please tell me more about this. What was it about? What'd you do? What was the plot?
Welcome
Who was
to
the
the-
bad guy?
Welcome to the adventures of
That is the cutest thing
like-
ever. Tell me more.
like with our squeaky voices. Oh, like, yeah,
Oh, it's
man.
because my dad bought this cam recorder.
Yeah.
And he bought this cam recorder, and then we would just be we're just having fun with it every time. And then my brother would be like recording and like welcome to the adventures of welcome to the adventures of I don't know, like,
the Joey Brothers.
and then we just make stupid videos. James was actually like so
I
ridiculous.
was crazy.
He's so
Now that
some
I
of the videos people should not watch because it's just
It's good because
ridiculous.
now I know who's gonna be the star of the next King's Army video that I'm gonna make. James and Daniel, more adventures from the Joe
But
Brothers.
yeah, like we would even we like love we love movies, watching the same movie. We always watch the same movies, and we'll memorize lines. I'll memorize this line, and he will memorize like the other guy's line.
Bro, you guys are mad
Like,
close.
just
I
always,
love
like,
that.
We'll just reenact the movies, and I don't know if I should say this. I just suddenly remembered like a really funny story, but
Yeah, go ahead.
no, it was just like because like when you were kids, you used to like have bath and showers together.
Oh yeah. I used
It's
to with
like
my brother.
pretty
Yeah.
standard.
Mm.
And then so like and then and and then like after like every it's not like I mean there was like this like Artemis Fowl or something. Like Artemis Fowl. I think it was Artemis Fowl. And I played like the big butler. And I don't oh sorry. Cut that laughing bit out. But like I played the big butler and he played like Artemis Fowl. Like this like small scrawny character. And I'll just get up and then like we'll just act all this out. And then like at the last second I'll just pee on him. And then he's like, oh stop. Oh
Yeah, you were kids, so that
yeah, we're
makes
just
sense.
kids, yeah.
It'd be weird if you did it now.
Yeah,
No, but yeah.
that was really funny
Nah, yeah,
because I
look,
think I did it like a few times. Yeah, so it was just
Bro, actually, now that you say peeing, I remember one time my brother made me so angry. I got his school bag and said, I'm gonna pee on it, and then he's like, no, you wouldn't. And then I pulled my pants down. I was like, no, you wouldn't. And then I looked at him in the eye, and then I just went, "Tss," and I peed on his bag. And then he called mom, and then mom beat me up.
yeah.
She was like, Mom, it's peeing on my bag.
it's just kid stuff.
I know,
man.
kids,
I
we
think,
like to urinate.
Yeah, it's just so weird. But yeah, that's just a funny story. I just suddenly popped in my mind. But like yeah, like nowadays we're still relatively close. But it's just that like you said, like yeah, it's a bit awkward doing like kind of like physical touch, not physical touch, but like let's say like high-fiving your brother. Or
Oh, yeah,
complimenting your brother. It's just kind of like it's just
Yeah, I
weird.
told them a story earlier about
Yeah.
me and my brother and how we don't normally interact. And when we had a mutual gathering with friends, like my brother was saying goodbye to our friends, and then he came to me and we high-fived, and then we were just like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Let's never do that
Exactly.
again. And he's like, yeah, agreed. That was really weird. I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah. We won't talk for a week now because it is too awkward
Yeah.
to deal with it. No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's weird. You have this bond. Like I know with my brother, I have this bond where I can just look at him and I know already like what's what without having to say anything, or we just understand each other without having to like talk about it, and we just know what to do to
Yeah.
kind of cater to each other
Exactly.
already.
We got a bit of that telepathic.
Yeah. Yeah, and considering you guys are close in age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow, what an adventure
Indeed.
of a podcast. And it was a pleasure seeing to you and hearing a bit more of a different dynamic or a different angle of James tonight, because having his own brother on the show. But yeah, you've been listening to the King's Army podcast with
Daniel and
James and
yours truly, IJ. Yeah, that was the most almost outro ever. But on that note, we guys see you next week.